Well, hello there. Today we're going to be looking at the Van Geet opening, which is move 1, knight to c3. So this opening has been recommended by a few of my mates, because obviously looks fine, right? You get your knight to the center, if they push d5. And if you really want, you can just play pawn at e4. If they push d, smooth the knight back. That's no position where you get your knight to f3, well, pawn f4 first. I'm going to play through a few moves. This is the idea, right? You want to get your pawn at f4. If you move this knight, you want to play pawn at d3. Now let's say b6. You want to go knight to f3. Let's say bishop b7. Now we'll go knight to g3. So you have the monopoly on your pawns, on his pawns also. The plan here is just to develop quite nicely. I don't know if they queenside castle, should be set with like c3. Or if you really want to play b4 first and play some extremely aggressive type style, like pushing down, about stack on the bishop. But yeah, the main plan is just to like a castle kingside, push pawn to b3, bishop here, or push pawn to f, and bishop to f4. I don't know, what can black do here? h5, just play h4. And because the f pawn, they cannot f6 g5, because you take with the f. Wait, watch, okay, let's right back to h7. Just chilling. f6. So you go for a pawn, so they push g5. You're all set with a type of line like this. And yes, they may have rook here, but well, you can probably get away with some moves. Like, yes, bishop takes here. Bishop takes on h5, because if they place a normal move, there's a chance you may be able to move the bishop back, which forces d6, because the pin on the queen, and the queen can't take, because the queen taking the bishop. And what, this is completely fine for white. Now I'd probably say it's winning. Is what you can even sacrifice this pawn, you just push up. Then you get to like really aggressive queenside attack. With the mate soon to come. And let's play 50 moves like bishop check, just king h1. Might be a sacrifice going off. Something like this. They push b, you can always just. It's pretty easy you can do if they push b, you can just. If I go around with the knight. Knight to e2 is not bad either. That's because it puts pressure on. It's also they can always just push c and just take rook, but. And by the way, you obviously don't take this because the rook just comes in. If you're asking that, what you would just take. Play move the rook back, sack a few pieces, and get a clean checkmate. So knight to 3 d5 e4. Let's say they take it. So you also want to take the pawn. There's probably some lines we play f3 and just yeah, so to a line like this, but I would not recommend it. So the engine doesn't either. No. Yeah, you just take the pawn. Play knight to f6. You just go knight back to g3. I don't know, even. Well, this line here actually develop the bishop, so it might be a bit better. I'll say knight c6. Just d. So yeah, d4's not that good here. Just d3, bishop out. Knight e2, f4. And you've got yourself a 5 position. Maybe some bishop stats coming up. For example, bishop c5, bishop g5, castles. Oh well, if you really don't want to push f, you can always just push knight, move your knight to f3, then pin it. Now what, this is completely fine for white. Or even better, because you don't have to castle immediately, because you have 2 ways to castle, both are completely fine. Your plan is to get your knight to a f5 or h5. h5 is probably better in this position, but let's say bishop back. Knight h5 doesn't work as well, because you just lose a knight. Knight h5 isn't terrible, is it? Okay, it isn't actually that great, yeah, so probably knight to f5, put pressure on here. Swing the queen around and just get some nice little attack on the king. Bishop sacks coming up also. Yeah, so let's go after c3 again. They might just play e5 immediately, and then you play e4, because, like, what if they don't usually play e5? You play knight to c3, and you get yourself to a good old Vienna Gambit. I believe I've made a video about that, so I'd recommend checking that out. My idea was just, if like knight to f6, just push f4, and just get into this, just get into like this type of position, and just chill happily ever after. Yeah, it's completely fine for that. Otherwise, if they want to play something like the Sicilian, you can always just play pawn to f4 here. Yeah, it's like a bird's opening. Let's say d5. You can always just play pawn to d4 also. And that'll look like us to think, because this is like a reversed. No, actually, I forget the name of this opening. That doesn't matter. There's just knight to f3, bishop to d2, or b3, bishop to b2. You want to push the pawn, you get your bishop to d3, eventually take here. Get your queen up, castle long, which is much better here. Get your rook to no, I'll just play this out because damn. So here, I'll play knight to f3, protect the pawn. Let's say e6. I'm gonna play pawn to b3 to fianchetto. Say bishop to d. The second the bishop moves, you just want to just take the pawn, just so you get yourself up a tempo. Bishop to b2. Knight to e7. Now you probably sack the pawn, but I'd just say e4, because if they take, you'd be fine with this type of position. And if they want to take, which is extremely risky, go back, take pawn, and just not check. Oh, that's checkmate. Wow, would you look at that? Wow, that is a great checkmate right there. You see, and that just shows you, because obviously, like, if bishop check, just bishop check, you smooth your king, right? Because he still has to take care of this mate, and it's not that easy to do. So if he castles, you'll probably sound like a3 coming up. A bishop here, some type of sacrifice, pushing h. It's a massive attack on the king. Oh, what else? c5. You could also probably just play d4 immediately if you don't want to play as risky. But I'm just not a fan of some type of position like this. And the best move here, in my opinion, is just to move your queen back. It just sounds like a very boring position. At least that's my opinion. What you want to do, like the b3, bishop, fianchettoing thing again. And this is like basically the same position, except it's just a bit worse. Now, what if they play the French? So the French, which usually comes out there. e4, e6, c4, d5. Well, the main move is d4, but c4 is just much better. So if knight to c3 and e6, ooh, I'm gonna highlight everything. Then you just gain the center with e4. If they ever push, you can always just take it. No, I strongly no, you can always just play knight to f3. And this is a much better variation of the French defense anyway, which is a 2 knights variation. That's quite simple to play, especially if they push the pawn, you go your knight back. If they push pawn, knight back. They try to hold the pawn, you push your pawn. Counts this weird type position where you go knight here, basically forcing push, and then you check them. You win this pawn, and you're going to win this pawn soon. So, if they play c5, which I believe is an inaccuracy, coming the engine, yeah, it's just like main line over here. Yeah, because they can't take, because it just castles, I believe, or knight to e5. If she's knight e5, they want to play queen to e7. Then you use castle, because they can't take the queen. Knight takes d5 is also coming. Oh, okay, so, what else? So, knight to c3. Let's say pawn to b6, because the g6, because that really boring player just loves just to fianchetto immediately, doing nothing other than just getting the king into safety, because that's all they're good at, and then just hoping that your attack on the king side won't win. Well, it will win, and here's why. So, against g6, you sort of play, well, a few moves you can play actually. You play h4, then h5, Mage 4, H5. So they have in the night, just keep out the bishop and just piss them off. Which is great, but it's not that effective long term because they'll eventually probably get their pawn back. But yeah, I'd recommend against G6, sorry, against G6. I'd honestly just recommend just playing F4. And if they play something like a perk, you can just completely just transpose into the Austrian attack with these moves. And Austrian attack is just the best line for the perk, my opinion. And my opinion is usually a fact. So that's basically all the lines. I guess if they play F5, you could probably just play G4 and just get into this type of line. This is obviously if you want to play extremely risky, but it's more entertaining. And yeah, this is the Van Geets opening. It's a very basic theory. It is a great opening in general, and it is an amazing surprise move against all your opponents. Now, have a good day.